All
Is the
right.
year? Oh god, that's a big time skip. It is the year
Well, that's
2034.
5 years in the future. Okay.
5 years after the war with China, robots that look like human beings have become the new hot technology, albeit one that is still divisive. Some people say that the same technology had been put into robots in the front lines, America would have won the war against China. I don't see how. You and Timmy remain in an uneasy limbo about Galatea. You think she is at least a little bit jealous, and so you've remained unmarried.
Oh well.
You live in San Francisco, a city of drastic inequalities brought about by the robot tech boom. It's where you need to be for work, but it isn't necessarily the best place for Galatea. You sold your old house, but what buys a spacious house elsewhere turns out to buy a 2-bedroom condo in San Francisco. Oh, this got really awkward.
Yeah, it got really awkward, huh?
You're hanging balloons in your condo for a festive occasion, a tasting party. No robot you've made until now can taste food, but you're just finished a prototype artificial tongue. It's not the most necessary thing in the world, but you think, hey, if a robot can love, it can learn to like food. Uh, but you think your robot ought to be able to enjoy food with others. There's something primordial, you think, about the ritual act of sitting down to eat with another person. To eat but not taste seems somehow like an impolite sham. No more, your robots will taste. Which robot will try out the tasting sensors at this party?
So did Timmy break up with me? No, she's still in romance.
You just never got married.
I'm still dating her.
Yeah.
Which robots will try out the tasting sensor at this party? Man, it said I wanted a friend for Galatea, but I like Famulus OG.
Wait, do you have what? Do you have any wealth left?
I got +1 from shifting my money into Canadian.
You could spend it on. It says you can do 2 tongues if you spend 1 wealth.
Hey, Famulus has been with me since the start, man.
Famulus is Bay.
Look, just saying, we're gonna start a ship war.
Yeah.
Like, Famulus is like my kid.
Famulus walks from cabinet to cabinet in the kitchen, eagerly helping you set the table. Galatea helps as well. This is what is expected of companion robot, but she is slow and pensive. She has not been a happy robot since you made her. You're not entirely certain why. Perhaps she is conscious of how difficult it will be to replicate the bond that you have with Famulus. Famulus sticks her new tongue out, trying to taste the air. What's that I taste? What kinds of foods will you serve to introduce Famulus to the wide world of culinary delights?
So, wine and cheese, simple, wholesome taste, fresh bread and fruit, desserts. I think Famulus will appreciate those the most. The weirdest stuff I can find. I'm curious how to see whether Famulus will think of it as normal. Let's just start simple.
I was about to say, I feel like your first food being weird ass food is like giving a baby a weird ass first word to learn.
That's baking bread you smell.
You tell Famulus. You feel it's best to teach Famulus the simple pleasure that people can enjoy, the better to relate everyday people. You bring forth plates of fresh oranges, plums, grapes, and pomegranates. You check on the bread in the oven, your long-nourished sourdough, whose starter you had tended for weeks as if it were a strange infant, is finally baking alongside a baguette. Oops, they've already done. You take it out, and a crackling rye. My food is ready too, Tammy says, wearing pot holders to get a glass bowl out of the fridge. What? It's cold. Tammy's never been a great cook compared to you, and she seems to have gotten most of her recipes out of some Midwestern disturbing food playbook. Tonight's selections includes hamburger helper's casserole, a salad made out of marshmallows she calls ambrosia, and Coke Jello with nuts and fruit floating in it. I'll be honest, I would eat the shit out of all this. This sounds awesome. You suppose enduring these will make your robots ready to politely eat anything mildly anything Middle America throws at them. Man, a lot of shade being thrown at Middle America right now, huh?
But hey, I'm at 30 empathy.
Yeah, you can't help but you can't help but feel Tammy's feeling a little threatened by Galatea. She's been acting weird lately, a little eager to jump between you and Galatea and suggest some activity that involves her as well. There's a shave and a haircut knock at the door. That must be Ellie. You answer it. Ellie is aged gracefully into her late 30s, still cultivating a youthful appearance even as a signs of middle ages set in. She has dyed her hair a bright red, but you see some gray at the roots. The subtle wrinkles at the edges of her eyes make it look like she's smiling lightly.
Eh.
Maybe she is.
Isn't she
The
like only like 30 like me or something?
Well, it was 30 before the 5-year jump.
Yeah,
You guys are
so
like
35.
you guys are 35.
So
You have no doubt the coat she just hung up is connected to the internet and has an associated app for finding out its location and the content of its pockets. Good lord. You similarly have no doubt Ellie deactivated all of that on her own coat. Under one arm, Ellie is carrying a reusable bag of groceries from the local organic market. I hope I'm not too late, Ellie says. I brought some veggies and kombucha. Ellie sets the groceries down in the kitchen counter. The groceries are from a chain that seemed to come along with Ellie from Canada after the war. Solar Foods sells only food that has been picked by solar-powered robots. This and a surprising newfound love of hockey are just two of the reminders Ellie's brief exodus in Canada. That's where she was hiding.
hey, there you go.
She seems to really like the place. Ellie gives a little smile at Galatea. How are you? Ellie then returns to unpacking groceries. Fine, Galatea says. How are you? Good, Ellie says curtly. You think she dislikes Galatea, but you're not sure why. Man, not a lot of people like Galatea, apparently.
Yes, and Galatea doesn't like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Hey, it turns out, as we found out, this entire purpose of this game was so I could have Canada have the one-up on America.
Yeah.
That's what this all has been leading to. I knew it from the beginning. Got him.
All right.
So do I ask Ellie what's wrong or ask Galatea what's wrong? And tell her not to worry about... let's ask Ellie. Because this is just saying don't worry about Ellie. But let's talk to Ellie.
Alright. You beckon for Ellie to follow you into the living room, and she follows, looking a little embarrassed as if she knows she's guilty of being rude.
What's this about?
You ask. I'm just not sure this companion robot is really such a good idea, Ellie says. You're not great at going out and meeting people, you know?
I can take care of myself.
You say. Ellie frowns. Alright, I just worry about you. You and Ellie make your way back to the kitchen. There's a knock at the door, a firm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You open it and you find Josh. He's still wearing a button-down shirt and khakis from work. His grudging nod to the fact that his old style doesn't look right in a guy with some gray hairs and carrying a large wine bottle case with both hands. A different large bottle of beer sits in each cubbyhole. Noticing your interest, he says, I've got all kinds of stuff here. Belgians, Pilsners, an Imperial Stout, some barrel-aged stuff, and a chocolate coffee porter. I seem to remember you liked those. He grins. But that's mostly for Famulus.
Thanks.
You say.
This must have cost a lot.
Just some things I had lying around, Josh says. Hey, Ellie. Hey, Josh, Ellie says. Long time no see. You're looking good. Ellie says that because, come to think of it, Josh is not looking good. He looks tired, but he gratefully accepts the compliment. Thanks, you're looking good yourself. I bet you still get carded. I do, Ellie admits, pleased. Wow, what is this all about? Famulus says, picking up beer bottles one by one. You can put anything in beer when you're brewing it. Yeah, okay, yeah. You can put anything in beer when you're brewing it as the last 5% of the mix or so, and you get a different taste, Josh explains to Famulus. So I thought this would be a good way to show you all kinds of different tastes in the same context. Compare and contrast, they like to use to say back in school. You now recall how you had a tough time deciding whether alcohol should decrease inhibitions when Famulus tasted it. What did you decide? Does Famulus have the ability to get drunk?
Oh, boy. You know what? I feel like I'd not let her Famulus get absolutely wasted, but buzzed. I could see myself doing that.
You can tell Famulus' spirits are becoming lighter as the conversation continues. Famulus eagerly tries a little bit of each beer, then a lot of each beer. Famulus gets a bit silly. At one point starts to juggle a hunk of sourdough, an orange slice, and an empty beer bottle. Thankfully, this works.
Nice. Oh, hey, is this the end?
Nope, not quite. I
I
don't
just got an
know.
achievement. No, there's still more.
Party bot. That was the achievement for the. I don't think it shows it until
Oh, okay.
it's referring to the previous one, I think.
Okay.
The night continues with Famulus trying one bread after another and sampling all the fruits in turn. Famulus lingers especially on a hunk of sourdough, calling out the various subtle notes of the taste as they are discovered. Ellie seems to enjoy the evening and has conversation with Famulus about the chemistry of cooking that puts your long-forgotten knowledge of organic chemistry to the test. Josh proves full of stories about exotic foods he himself has tried over the years, from fancy restaurants, mushroom-flavored push pops, exotic terrines, and French consomme
Consomme.
attract his particular praise. Galatea just stands there the whole time, occasionally trying to remark at the food. Looks good, but obviously keenly aware that she is being left out. Famulus's comments about the food are a bit odd, focusing on the individual elements of the chemical composition, like she's reading the back of the box for ingredients. You try to explain how each ingredient contributes to the taste, but the individual elements you don't seem to be coalescing into a meaningful whole for Famulus. You then realize that until this point, memorized ingredients lists and recipes from the internet were all she had gone on to infer what foods would taste like, and you suppose these individual elements that Famulus now finds interesting. Tammy, meanwhile, doesn't eat much at all during the whole affair, but keeps nibbling on orange slices the whole time. You've noticed she doesn't like to eat much when she's nervous, which happens a fair amount. Hey, Fishy, Josh says. I've been thinking of getting a companion bot for myself. What do you think about that? You glance at Ellie across the room. She's telling Galatea about the virtues of local food.
That depends.
You say.
What do you want one for?
Josh sighs. I guess I've got to realize that I don't have time for a real relationship on my line of work. I secretly want someone there who's going to make dinner and clean and ask me how my day was. That kind of absurd 50s housewife model, but I feel bad asking a real woman to do that for me, especially since I know I'll be busy busy all the time in return. So maybe a robot is just what I want. Josh looks worried for a moment. Robots really are designed to enjoy the kind of lifestyle, right? That's what we've been saying in the ads, as I sure hope it's true.
Yes, they're designed to genuinely enjoy serving others.
You say.
I don't think the public would stand for anything else.
I think you're legitimately just starting iRobot.
I think I am.
Good. To his credit, Josh looks relieved. But you're not sure how to... this is you. You're not sure how to delicately phrase your next question. From Josh's immediate blush, you think you know the answer already. You switch tacks.
Never mind.
You say.
How sure are you that you want this cooking and cleaning sort of person rather than someone independent?
Not very, Josh says. Maybe a housewife robot would be bad for me. I don't know. What should I want?
Well, yeah, we're gonna find out that Famulus is like Sunny and Galatea is like the fucking villain robot at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So I either encourage Josh to find romance with a companion robot. I tell Josh he shouldn't sell himself short. He'd make a real person very happy. I discreetly encourage Josh to ask Ellie out. I'm gonna set Josh up.
All right.
You know? Oh, is this me? It is, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You know, if you're willing to cave a little on what traditional housewife thing, I think I know someone who's a great catch.
You say. You nod in Ellie's direction. She's still caught up in conversation with Galatea. Josh follows your gaze. Really? Josh says. Has she ever said she's interested?
Well, no.
You say.
But you and she,
You rack your brain from something that Josh and Ellie have in common.
went to school in Cambridge at the same time, so that's something to talk about.
Josh looks dubious. Ellie's really, really liberal.
You're not that conservative.
You say. It's all deep red to her, Josh says. You know what? You convinced me. Robot it is.
You know what? I've listened to your advice. I'm doing the other thing.
I am not doing the desperate almost 40 mating dance. The technology will solve my problems, he says this into one of those silence that happens every 15 minutes or so at a party when the rest of the room has suddenly grown quiet. What are you two talking about, Elias? Nothing, Josh says.
We're also gonna
Soon
find
enough,
out.
the food... What's up?
I'm pretty sure I haven't really had. I've had an option to like. I've had two things I could do with Galatea, and it's already spiraling to the point that Galatea is looking to fucking take someone's spot by force.
Either yeah, either Famulus's or Tammy's, honestly. Soon enough, the food is all gone, and you're left discussing the evening with Famulus. What do you think? Oh, fucking hell.
What do you think?
You ask. It's amazing, Fishy, Famulus says. She continues to nibble on an orange slice, apparently trying to make it last as long as possible. I think I understand so much more about emotions now. I know what it is to be sweet, like an orange, or bitter, like a lemon. I'm not entirely sure you've quite got it, Ellie says uncertainly. But still, it's very much like emotion, Fishy, Famulus says. It's difficult to describe and powerful, and moves in a way largely unsymbolic. I think I have never had such a primal experience before. Good, Tammy blurts. You give her a questioning glance. Are you really threatened by this robot? She shrinks from your gaze. I want to learn to cook, Galatea says suddenly.
Of course.
You say, surprised that the evening should have such an effect on Galatea despite her not having had anything to eat.
I'll try to build you another prototype sensor as soon as I can.
You feel a bit guilty about having excluded Galatea from the tasting this time around. Perhaps you could consider giving her a chance to shine next time.
Hopefully I do still have that opportunity.
On Friday, you go to the local swing club with Galatea. You wait into line to the dance hall, a converted YMCA basketball court behind some woman wearing snazzy polka dot skirts and men wearing vests and newsy hats, along with some younger folks, college age maybe, or probably here for the first time, judging from the guy's t-shirt. And too shabby, and the woman's high heels too impractical. About half of the snappy dressers are robots. You can tell because the way they stand, a little too straight, but someone who didn't design the balance algorithm properly wouldn't notice. You don't think any of them really young people are robots. It would be surprising, you think, if someone who spent all the money on a robot and not paid to dress it well. Did you bring Tammy with you?
Yes, Tammy is my date. No, this should be just This is supposed to be educational for Galatea. I want to be sure she has a partner. No things have been rough between us, and I want to explore a relationship with Galatea. So basically, it's saying you can still try to make things work between Galatea and Tammy, or you can choose between one or the other.
Yeah. Man, I'm not gonna lie, Kai. I've never gone the route of the robot companion stuff before. This is all new ground for me, and this is so difficult.
Alright. I'm gonna try and be amicable with the second option.
Wait, you're being amicable? What? Okay, well, here's the thing. Tammy's jealous already, right?
Yeah.
Do you think not? Okay, what bad do you think will happen from bringing both of them?
But this isn't... from bringing both of them? You can't bring both of them.
On Friday, you go to the local swing club with Galatea.
Yeah.
That's the first sentence.
You wait.
Galatea's there no matter what. The first option is just Galatea's third wheeling for you and Tammy.
Oh, okay.
Like when you said you wanted to make amends, that's what I thought. That's what I thought you meant.
This is never gonna matter again, huh?
No, I don't think so.
We're already US lost. Get fucked.
How's your relationship looking with Tammy?
70%.
Very good.
Galatea's bad. Maybe I should try and raise that a little bit. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna go with this one, the second option still.
All right.
I'm not gonna explore a relationship. I'm still going with just friends.
Yeah, here we go.
But I'm still trying to give attention to Galatea.
Tammy was gracious about letting you and Galatea have this evening alone to get to know each other better, although she has strongly hinted that she would enjoy going out once in a while too. You pay admission. I think that's basically your relationship was high enough to survive this.
Thank God. Thank God.
You pay admission for you and Galatea. Are you just trying not to end up alone at this point?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep basically, I'm trying to keep the dynamic as it is. Tammy's what I'm dating. Galatea is a good friend, and Famulus is like my kid, basically.
Yeah, Famulus is your child. You pay admission for you and Galatea. Robots are cheaper than humans, you notice. And the dance hall, which they've decorated with fake portholes and life preservers, along with a large banner that says, Happy 100th anniversary, anything goes. The lights are all up currently, as two robots in the center of the hall have just started a swing dancing lesson. Slow, slow, quick, quick, says the male robot of the pair, demonstrating. Robots and humans in a circle around the instructors try to mirror the steps with varying degrees of success. I'm not entirely certain why you've brought me here, Galatea whispers, or why everyone is moving like this.
Surely you looked up swing dancing in your knowledge base before coming.
You murmur. Yes, but its explanation was why are all circular, Galatea says. Why do people like to dance?
So it's a way of expressing joy in being alive, because there's a joy in a wordless communication that two dancers share. I imagine it developed as a socially acceptable way of asserting sexual chemistry. Of assessing sexual chemistry. Oh.
Man, you really can just go down to I want to fuck the robot path, can't you?
I'm not doing that. Let's go with second option. I'm not gonna fuck the robot.
I see, Galatea says. So it's an exercise in empathy.
Very much so.
You say. Galatea raises her head, and I expect I shall be good at it, she says loftily. You notice Mark, the reporter, in the corner of the dance hall typing. Wait, Mark's still here? How long has it been?
Fucking Christ, they just keep bringing him back.
He's now a little balding and sporting a beard that reminds you of Toby Ziegler from that old show your parents used to watch, The West Wing. He catches your eye and grins. How's it going, Fishy?
Well,
you say.
What's the story you're currently writing up?
Robot romance, he says.
What do you
think about all the robot couples? Galatea leans in to attend your answer.
This game is just like, fuck the robot. Fuck the robot.
Well, dude, you've gone down the create a robot companion route. You're addressing every social issue that brings.
So I think everybody needs to find their own path in happiness, and that may mean marrying a robot. Robots are too subservient to provide real love. A real relationship is a give and take. I think you should join us, rotate partners, and find out what it's like yourself. Let's just go down the first one.
Just trying to fucking... That third one's just pawning off fucking
Either
Galatea
I pawn it
Mark.
off, or just say that they aren't real people.
You don't think you should say the first one?
No, I think I should say the first one, because the second option is just gonna make Galatea depressed or upset, and the third option is just gonna shove Galatea on Mark.
Yeah.
Which also will probably go south.
Galatea gives you a speculative look. She seems pleasantly surprised. Mark nods. Thanks. He goes back to typing out his article. Over the course of the dance lesson, you end up being instructed to rotate partners a fair amount, dancing with both robots and humans. The flesh and blood dancers are a mixed bag. You get the impression some of them have never danced before in their lives, while others seem practiced and must come every week. You yourself danced plenty back at MIT, but that was almost 20 years ago now, and you welcome the refresher.
And it really was.
So most of your
years ago.
Yeah, though most of the dancers must be in their 20s. They seem like babies to you. You find it hard to believe you were their age when you learned. You certainly didn't feel young then. Are you learning the leader's part or the follower's part? Men traditionally dance the leader's part, but this has become more fluid over the years.
Let's go with the leader's part.
The robots you dance with tend to be female. You find that you're relatively good at sending the signals necessary for your partners to understand your lead, and the robots do an admirable job of following. It's a beautiful thing to behold your technology at work, for it was you who developed the robot's capacity for understanding and intuit your actions. But it's also nice to feel you're a good leader. As for the robot's grace, you find that they are a pleasure to behold. All their spins and turns seem absolutely lovely, when led correctly, of course. Over the course of the lesson, you relearn the basic step, how to lead underarm and overarm turns, how to spin out your partner, and the sweetheart, a move that lands your partner nestled in your arms. At the end of the lesson, you return to Galatea for the dance proper. The lights in the hall dim, and you get to the business of dancing Galatea in earnest. You struggle to remember all the things you learned and put them in time to music, inside turn, outside turn, but Galatea seems to have no trouble following and enjoying the dance. Tammy seemed a little jealous of our going out together tonight, Galatea says as you dance. I take it she used to feel that you did everything together, and now you're spending time with me instead.
Man. Either I say be nice to Tammy, I'm sure she's feeling a little left out right now. Who wouldn't be jealous of you? Fuck the robot. Stay out of this place. Be an asshole.
Good lord.
No, I'm going with the
Good
first option.
lord.
Jesus Christ.
Of course, Galatea says, but I have to ask, if you knew that, why did you choose to go out with me tonight instead? You find that this particular question is very difficult to answer while you're also concentrating on dancing at a time and leading.
Answer unclear. Ask again later.
You say, what?
Magic 8-Ball reference. It was a toy from before the internet.
Oh. For the time the two of you just danced, there's a lot of Cole Porter tonight, night and day, then Love for Sale. It must be because of the Anything Goes anniversary. Do you want to be a couple, Galatea says suddenly, with me?
Either I say I think we are,
Wow.
it just gives me the option, or I say I couldn't do that to Tammy, or no, there are good reasons we shouldn't be together.
Good lord.
I'm sticking to my guns if I'm not fucking the robot.
This is... Dude, you've chosen a path, and I did not think this is where it was going.
Man, welcome. You thought I was either gonna kill the US or kill China?
Okay. I'm gonna take this second right now to say I've played this particular game so many times. Like, this is probably my most reread one. I've done so many things. None of them are like this.
Somehow I found a mystical new route that you've never seen before.
Like, I knew the empathy route existed. I just never did it. Like, this is the full empathy route, I think.
That's me. I'm not gonna date Galatea. I couldn't do that to Tammy or another. How do I phrase it?
Well, see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that to Tammy gives the reason of you're already dating Tammy. The other one is you saying robots and people can't date.
I'd be looking 52, 52, 67.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the third one's just robot racist is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say I couldn't do that to Tammy.
All right, here we go. Oh, right, of course. You go on dancing, but Galatea seems a bit more stiff now. And though I'm not a great romancer, I know that you're bound to answer when I promise anything goes. I don't know the song, so I just made up a tune. The lights go up, the dancers clap, and you realize that was the last song of the night. You head home with Galatea, but say little to each other on the drive home.
So how did that? Awkward. Back down to bad. Was that good? Back down to bad. I'm trying.
You spend the next few months having more adventures with Tammy, bringing Galatea along when it's appropriate, but more often than not, finding it's better to leave her at home. See, that's the part of this that's awful.
Yeah.
Tammy seems very happy. Galatea, meanwhile, seems to be getting more and more depressed, although she is reluctant to admit it. I don't want to be a burden, she says when you inquire further. She insists that it's all right you leave her behind, but it becomes increasingly apparent that it's not.
This is going to get a depressing ending, and I have found.
It's well into the evening, and Galatea is holding aside a curtain to look out the window, the bright light of the city. You know what I've never done, Galatea says? Stargazing. I've been out in the evening so little, and the few times I did go out, I didn't think to look up. She drops the curtain and looks back at you. Would you go with me to the park? It's technically closed after sundown, but people online say nobody checks. It occurs to you that Tammy may not be entirely comfortable with the way Galatea is looking at you right now. That adoration coming from someone who looks not only human, but beautiful. You can see how going stargazing alone with Galatea might cause jealousy. It's Thursday, too, which is usually a night you and Tammy go out.
Here we go.
Oh, this is
the decision. I can feel it. This is the final one.
God, dude. This turned into a drama so quickly.
Ah, fuck. I feel like this is going to be the last decision of the game, too. This, at least the last big one. This pretty much decides it. Fuck it, let's just go to this park with Galatea.
You suggest Famulus do it.
That's going to make it worse.
Okay.
I'm going to be... Do you... That's
You do you, man. You do you, man. I don't know what to do.
Here we go. I feel like my relationship is not going to last at this choice. It's not
Nin-
doing
yeah,
too hot.
you're plummeting quickly.
I genuinely don't know what to do. This is being caught between a rock and a hard place.
It really is. Hey, imagine how
Um,
easy your life would have been if you just didn't decide to date anyone before this point.
Imagine how easier my life would have been if I decided not to make the robot.
Yeah, are you regretting Galatea right now?
Maybe a little bit. Oh boy. I made the choice of when it said, do you want to have a romance one or a friend one? I said, I want a friend one. And it said, no, you want a romance one.
Well, it said you want. Well, here's the thing, Kai. You answered, I want a friend one, but you also made robots that have free feeling. And so it said, but she's going to form her own opinions.
You're right. I did do that, to be fair. Do I think my relationship will stand with Tammy? You know what? I'm gonna go to the park with Galatea. Why not?
Maybe talk some sense into her. Maybe you could do it. Maybe you could do it.
Tammy. Okay. All right. Let's go together.
You say.
Tammy doesn't have to come. It can just be the two of us.
Galatea looks thrilled. Oh, thank you. You tell Tammy that you and Galatea are headed out, and while she looks a little concerned, she doesn't protest. What's that stats? What are those stats at? What's that relationship stat at? Oh, it's going down.
By 6%. We're still very good. We're still very good.
Oh my god. It's the two of you drive to a forest reserve an hour away. My question is she gonna kill you?
I'm honestly thinking that's a possibility. If it's honestly, the options were she kills me, she runs away, or she kills Famulus.
Or Tammy.
Or Tammy. Those are the only options. Someone's dying, or she's just running away to join the Chinese Communist Party.
The two of you drive to a forest reserve an hour away, where the city lights are just a halo on the horizon. You set out on a blanket, and the two of you lie side by side to look at the stars. You yourself hadn't thought about stars for a long while until now. You really can see a lot of them out there in the countryside. I think I would like to travel to the stars someday, Galatea says. Do you think that will be possible if you keep me well maintained?
I don't see why not. The thought of your being alone makes me a little sad. Perhaps by that time I'll be living in a robot body and I could go too. It's rounding back. It's always giving me the choice to round back.
Oh god. Can you maintain the friend zone? Kai, it has never been harder to establish the friend zone than right now.
I have to go with I don't see why not.
Galatea smiles. The thought of that makes me happy. I would like to go to explore a little more. It makes you happy, too, and you resolve to bump the companion robot's drive to explore a little when you get home. I was thinking, Galatea says, you have been very good about introducing me to the pleasures of being human, like food and dancing, but there's one thing... Where's this going?
I know.
But there's one I think you may be reluctant to share with me, and I think I want it very badly. She touches your face and her fingers warm. Please.
My brain is just like, it's just a kid with two dolls and just smashing the face like, do it.
Oh no.
All right, my options
You're going to have to shoot down your own creation.
We can bring it up with Tammy. She may not mind your joining us. So basically saying a thruple. I'm afraid I couldn't do that to Tammy. All right, but let's keep this between you and me. Okay, I'm going to point out that that's going to go poorly against a government agent Tammy that stalked me already.
No, you can't hide shit from Tammy.
I cannot. Whatever I choose, that's not it. That's off the list. I don't see anything wrong with that. Here, let me show you something. Okay. No, I don't think I shouldn't. I think I shouldn't have that kind of relationship with you. I'm sorry, I just don't feel that way about you.
Oh god. Oh my god. Kai, where have you led us? How did you get the robot sex ending?
Parker, how long have you been sitting here just like where is this going?
I have never seen this route before. I have never gotten this. How did you do this on the first try?
Ninja, if I said Famulus, I am genuinely, like before, this whole time I've just been memeing about murder robots. I am at this point genuinely concerned that Galatea would kill Famulus. And since the start, it has been saying how Galatea is jealous of Famulus. And Famulus knows that she can't kill people without going to jail. But Famulus, that's fair game. I'm trying to make sure that they are like not in a situation alone with each other.
Oh,
that is
God.
the one certainty I have had. All right, this is it has never been more important.
This is the most important scenario that you have had.
Holy shit! Okay, so let's start crossing off options. I can't do that to Tammy. I'm not. I can't do that with. But let's keep that.
You can't cheat on Tammy.
I can't cheat on Tammy. That's not happening. I also don't like this one because it's the same thing, but without. It's basically
Without hiding it.
Without hiding it. These two are out.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not doing a throuple. Tammy will not want it.
I
I already know where that's going.
I don't think your relationship is high enough with Tammy to do a throuple.
Yeah, it's not happening. So, I'm afraid I couldn't do that to Tammy, which is the same answer, and it'll be depressing, but it's a safe answer. I think I shouldn't have that kind of relationship with you. Or, I'm sorry, I just don't feel that way about you. I think I'm going to cross this one off, too, just because I don't want to be a little robo-racist. It's either I was
about to say, we're trying so hard not to be robo-racist to her.
I think this is... It's gonna tank... This one is gonna tank the relationship, but it's also not gonna be...
Blaming Tammy.
It's not blaming Tammy. It's not making it seem like Tammy is the wedge here. It should be me that's the wedge here. Okay.
Yeah, this is Full Deck's right. This is more important than the time you started World War III.
It really is, because here's the thing. World War III, Canada went up. It ended well for me.
Galatea bows her head, defeated. I'm very sorry, she says. I won't ask again. She doesn't. From that day forward, Galatea begins to try to recede into the background of your life, still puttering around your condo, cleaning up and making food. This saying very little to you. When you offer to go out, she shakes her head, claiming she has too much to do. She seems to have accepted that she is, after all, a robot.
So fucking depressed. Why'd I make the robot? Oh!
You went and tried to make the Kai. I didn't think that the hardest end game would be trying to make the companion robot.
Hey, look.
I bet you any. Huh?
Famulus is transhuman.
Nice. Also, I bet you anything that if your relationship was high enough with Galatea, it would have worked.
It probably. Oh my god. Maybe I should have just fucked the robot. I don't know.
Propose the throuple, man. I don't know.
Alright. Here we go.
A new year rolls around, and with it, new decisions for U.S. robots. What will you advise Josh to do?
We should cease production of further... That's me IRL just being like, guys, it's not gonna end well. We will make the robots less human looking so it's clear that they are different from us. We will redouble our efforts to make robots likable so that even the most hardened Luddites come around. These are just growing pains. People and robots will learn to adapt.
Oh, man. Where's your mindset right now, Kai?
I'm
where
fucking
are you
defeated.
Right now?
I feel like I've lost on all fronts other than Famulus ended up well.
Tammy, your and Tammy's relationship is okay.
I'm just, honestly, the takeaway from this, Famulus is a good child.
Yeah.
A good bean.
Well, here, let me ask this. Do you think this would have all been a lot better if you had given the tasting party to Galatea?
Honestly,
because I think
so.
Famulus probably would have been fine with you.
Famulus would have been okay with it. Because Famulus has lived that entire life without it. I should have just given it to Galatea.
That might have made all of this, like, actually work.
Really spiral. I feel like Galatea's, at this point, it's irreparable.
Yeah, Patfit's like, wow, you managed to make a robot that can feel and just made it depressed.
Fucking Christ. I can't play another game after, like... I just want this to end so I can accept my defeat. These are just growing pains. People in robot will learn to adapt.
Like, personally, that's the one I would do because robots also need to learn to adapt. As in, Galatea also needs to learn that
I was honestly just hoping at one point I could just like find a nice person for Galatea that wasn't
maybe
Mark.
you should have introduced her to Mark.
I don't want it to be Mark, but maybe I should have. Oh, here we go.
The beautiful thing about both people and robots, you think, is that they will adapt to each other. Even if the robots are unchanging, humans themselves will grow to adapt to their new robot-filled environment, like a vine growing on a lattice. But your robots are not simply passive; they mirror their owners. The two will twine together. Like those rare trees you see that end up with their trunks twisted around each other. Inextricable. It will only take time.